Hello Internet, Taliesin here, and today we are talking deliveries. And no, when I say deliveries, I'm obviously not talking about that Hermes package that you've been waiting for 2 weeks now. The one where they keep saying that they tried to deliver it, but there was no one home, but there definitely was someone home because you stayed in all day especially for that. And for fuck's sake, Hermes, just give me my Lush soap set already. I haven't even been able to wash in 2 weeks. No, we are talking about a delivery that's arriving exactly as predicted. World of Warcraft Legion patch 7.3. The patch notes are out. It launches next reset and the patch is physically downloaded into your files right now. And of all of the patches that we've ever covered on this channel, this might be the most exciting one yet. Because if that background download looks suspiciously big to you, that's with good reason. There's a planet in there. Because 7.3 sees us leaving the terra firma of Azeroth and venturing to Argus in a patch which is just about as close to a new expansion as it's possible to get without being an actual new expansion. With new zones, story, instances, mechanics, and other changes coming by the bucket load, which you need to know about, because the last thing you want to do is wake up on a different planet one day with no idea of what it is you're supposed to do. That's what happened to Charlie Sheen, and it didn't end well for him. So join us as we bring you 6 new things, and actually a whole lot more besides, that you've got to look forward to in patch 7.3, the Shadows of Argus. Okay? Go, 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 go. So first up is, of course, the planet itself. Argus. You'll already be familiar with Argus because it's that massive green planet that's been up in the sky for the last few weeks, ever since Illidan teleported it there at the end of Tomb of Sargeras, which just goes to show that if anything, their home delivery service is even better than they promised. Argus is massive in terms of Warcraft lore. It's the homeworld of who we now call the Draenei, a super advanced and peaceful civilization before Sargeras turned up 25,000 years ago and convinced 2 of its 3 leaders that demons and fel were totally the way to go, leaving Velen to escape with the handful of space goats that make up every single Draenei character you've ever met in game up to this point. Velen taking the survivors back to their homeworld, and us seeing this place in game for the first time is a gold mine for lore nerds, but it's also massive in gameplay terms too. I mean, for a start, just look at it. Seriously, look at this shit. This shit is already awesome. I'm not even joking. Argus is made up of 3 new playable zones that will unlock over the course of a 3-week story-driven campaign. And when I say story-driven, I don't mean like 7.2 and the Legion Fall campaign was story-driven, because yes, there technically was a storyline on the Broken Shore, but it wasn't exactly Shakespeare, was it? Actually, if we're being honest, it wasn't even Here's the Situation by The Situation. 11 quests that you'd already done before, spread out over 11 weeks before you were allowed to walk in through a door that was already open. No, the Argus campaign is chock full of proper story, proper awesome long-awaited lore characters, and we're promised proper cinematics too, as well as all of the usual busy work that you'd expect from any World of Warcraft zone. So there will be world quests, world bosses, which by the way will be on a set rotation and not random, a change which will also apply to existing Broken Shore bosses from here on in. New pets to tame and mounts to collect, new profession nodes and materials for miners, herbalists, skinners and tailors, and new items that can be crafted with them. And if Argus isn't enough planet for you, then don't worry, because you can fuck off to a whole heap of other alien worlds with the new invasion points. Scenarios that will see you take on Legion forces across the cosmos, not unlike the invasion scenarios still running in the Broken Isles zones, but whereas those have demons invading us, this is us invading them, and you know, on different planets. All of these different things will be reached via handy transport hubs that you unlock through the campaign so that you can teleport across the maps in your disco ship, because oh yeah, did I mention, ain't no flying on Argus, mate, and there's no Pathfinder achievement either, so there never ever will be. Don't shoot the messenger, alright? Basically, the size and scope of what Blizzard are trying to do with the Argus campaign is unlike any other patch that has come before in WoW's history. I mean, let's be honest, it's stupid, but it's pretty wonderful too. And to think this patch was just going to be another green island off the coast of the Broken Isles before Ian had his way. Thank you, Ian. There's a new 5-man dungeon to jump into in 7.3, the Seat of the Triumvirate. And this is the old centre of government on Argus, where the 3 amigos, Velen, Kil'jaeden, and Archimonde, ruled over a utopian civilization before it all went to pot with Sargeras' arrival. But it's not demons or the Legion that we're fighting here, because this dungeon is all about the Void. We will follow Illyria Windrunner and her new Void teacher, Locust Walker. Yes, that's right, Illyria Windrunner is learning Void magic from someone called Locust Walker, but don't worry everyone, because it's totally fine and she's absolutely in control, and there's pretty much nothing that can go wrong in this scenario, so I don't even know what you're so worried about. Seriously, chill out. And battle creatures of the shadow, including a corrupted Naru, in what is surely just a little taster of what we should be expecting in upcoming expansions once the Legion is all dealt with. And even if this dungeon isn't quite the most innovative ever, it's a really refreshing change of pace to be taking on the Void and all its slick purple goodness after almost 2 expansions now of fell green overload. And the Seat of the Triumvirate will also be available as a mythic keystone dungeon, so get ready for everyone to complain that it's massively overtuned because they don't know the mechanics inside out yet like they do with other dungeons. On that note, by the way, the gear from all dungeons is getting bumped up by various degrees in 7.3. Mythic 0 will give you 885 level items, up from 865. Mythic Plus rewards will scale up to a maximum 915 item level, and Mythic 10, which for the moment at least awards the max level gear, will see you bag a level 935 item from your weekly chest. Perhaps even more than demons, NPC death, and Diablo 3 mechanics, Legion has been all about the artifact weapons, with the artifact power grind being a fundamental part of the core gameplay loop throughout the Broken Isles, and this looks set to continue on Argus as more upgrades are introduced to the system with the Netherlight Crucible. Now, you may have heard about the Netherlight Crucible, and you may be a little bit confused as to how it actually works. It's got a reputation for being incredibly complicated, but actually it's simpler than the Team 10 dress code, bro, because it will, after it's all been completely unlocked, allow you to choose an extra trait on each of your artifact relics from a selection of randomly generated options, which means that instead of aiming exclusively for that one relic which has your best trait on it, any relic could end up having that trait on it. It's basically just making it more likely that the relics you loot will be of use to you. So you see, it's so simple that even Jake Paul could understand it, as long as you explained it like really very slowly and stopped for regular cocaine breaks, obviously. Of course, you are going to have to get to level 75 on your artifact to unlock those options on all 3 relics, which probably sounds a bit daunting, doesn't it? But don't worry, because 7.3 will also see a rise in artifact knowledge, seeing you stack up that artifact power quicker than ever before. And what's more, the artifact knowledge will now increase automatically every week. You don't have to put in the work orders. Oh, and not only that, but when 7.3 hits, everyone will be automatically bumped to current artifact knowledge levels, whether they previously reached them or not. So if you haven't played for a while and you're worried that you won't be able to catch up, well, you already have caught up. So basically, jump in. Welcome back. Generally, we've gotten used in Legion for the main bulk of class balance changes to come not with the initial content patches like 7.1 or 7.2, but a little later in 7.15 or 7.25, just before the launch of a new raid. It looks like 7.3 is following that same pattern, because although there are class changes coming with Argus, they aren't huge, and they seem to be more rescue operations to those classes that find themselves cut adrift from the rest of the pack. So Frosty K, Feral Druids, Paladin, especially Ret, and Windwalker are the main focus and are getting general buffs in various ways. It's nothing massive, and expect a much larger, more universal, more comprehensive round of changes in 10 to 11 weeks time, but for now, these band-aid fixes should be enough to see these guys through the remainder of Tomb of Sargeras. Now obviously there aren't only 6 new changes coming in 7.3, so in this section we will quickly round up all of those smaller changes that may not be worthy of their own section in this video, but that you are still going to notice in the coming weeks, starting with class order hall changes. Your order hall champions will now be able to gear up to eye level 950, with new catcher armor tokens being introduced to speed up the process for any you have lagging behind. It's going to be easier to catch up on your various order hall research tiers if you happen to be behind on those too. Although the cost of tier 7 has actually increased slightly, generally it's going to cost a whole lot less order hall resources to research new tiers, and that research is going to be completed a lot quicker too, 1 day for each level, down from 3 days. And there are some pretty big changes on the Broken Shore too, as our focus switches to our new favourite planet. Your relinquished gear guy is coming with us to Argus, accepting a whole new currency and obviously offering higher level gear too, including artifact relics for specific slots, so you need never again drop a few thousand shards and pray that you'll beat the odds for a blood relic. That shit is now on demand. And the Broken Shore now has its own emissary too. Bad news is that from 7.3, giving in Legion Fall supplies will no longer award you a Legion Fall recompense, meaning one of the flat-out most efficient ways of farming legendaries is gone. Hope you enjoyed it. Presumably it means that the Legion Fall buildings, most notably the Mage Tower, will be considerably slower in being built, although Blizz did promise that they'd tweak the numbers involved when they needed to. Right about now would probably be a good time for that tweak, you'd imagine. Especially excitingly, there are big combat animation updates coming for casters. A whole new set of class-specific animations will be arriving for every single casting class. Sorry, Warlock, did you say something? No, okay, sorry, Warlock, carry on. And they're frankly awesome, and I think it's fair to say that every single caster will be pretty happy with their shiny new moves. Yes, that's right, every single caster, every single one. And the UI is getting some updates too, the most obvious change being the new dressing room panes, which are now bigger is better, and class-specific too. Because, you know, if there's one thing that I think Legion is lacking, it's class-specific stuff, you know? I'm really glad we finally managed to get some good class-specific stuff into this expansion, you know? It's about time. Of course, the jewel in the crown of any patch is a new raid, and there's no raid quite as exciting as a final raid, which is exactly what we are getting with Antorus, the Burning Throne, which we've been promised is the last full-sized raid of Legion, and will essentially wrap up the story of this expansion. And if 7.3 is a big, important patch, then Antorus is a big, important raid. If Argus is lore heaven, then Antorus is lore multiple screaming orgasm, because, and here's your spoiler warning right here, because it's impossible to talk about this without spoilers, let's just say that this is a climax worthy of an expansion that was billed as the ultimate battle with the Burning Legion, as we fight our way into the heart of the Legion military machine, and then into the heart of the very planet, and then beyond, for what on paper seems the most epic boss fights we've ever encountered. Not just the high command of the Legion armies, including this guy that shot down the ship of the Army of the Light bastard, but titans, corrupted titans, world souls, and maybe, just maybe, because it hasn't been confirmed, but I'm putting my stool out right here and I am calling it, maybe the most fitting end of all, with a battle in some form or another with Sargeras himself. Like the other raids so far this expansion, Antorus won't be opening with the launch of 7.3, but coming a little bit later with 7.3.5. My guess is 77 days later, but that's just me. But it really does seem like it's going to be worth waiting for. Raider in me is excited, the lore nerd in me is overwhelmed and dribbling happily in a corner excited, and the WoW player in me just wants to kiss Ian on his big, beautiful face and say thank you. Oh, sorry, did I say Ian? Sorry, I meant to say Tyrallion, because, well, obviously you would, wouldn't you? Thanks for joining us today, and extra special thanks to our patrons too, who give their actual real-life money to help these videos happen. With YouTube playing games again, these videos really wouldn't exist without Patreon at the moment, so if you enjoyed this video, don't thank us, thank them. If you didn't like the video, downvote the shit out of it, and remember, my name is Bay. No, my name is Taliesin, from myself and Evitel too. Until next time, cheerio.